The bull market is officially here. Well, it's kind of been here, but as Bitcoin crosses 57,000, is FOMO from retail about to kick in as the ETFs continue massive volume days with over $1 billion in volume from BlackRock alone yesterday. We're also going to talk about why institutions are maybe potentially moving some of their money from Bitcoin to Ethereum. When will ETH hit 4K? We're going to talk about that. We also have Magic Internet Money joining us to go over some charts, some price action. We have big news from Theta. And also, Solana and their protocol was mentioned by Satoshi in the Bitcoin white paper. Well, let's get into it. Hola! It's your boy, Big Rob, Big Hair, back in the house. Welcome to Sin City Crypto. If it's your first time checking us out, we're the entertainment-focused cryptocurrency channel. We take old, boring, stale information and repackage that thing up in a fun and sexy way. Man, oh man, 57,000. We are knocking at 60K. I mean, if you're not hyped up right now and you own Bitcoin or you're into crypto or you're just extremely degenerate like I am and you're just FOMOing into everything, what a good time to be alive, man. What a good time to FOMO. What a good time to FOMO and everything, you know? Yes. I mean, I remember in 2021, you literally couldn't not make money. If you were spot buying, if you were spot buying and you weren't buying NFTs. Interesting NFTs. If you were just spot buying crypto at the beginning of 2021, let's just rewind the clock. Let's just say December 2020. You could have bought any token and then been up at least a 5x in about 6 months. And that's where we're at right now. That is where we're at right now. Throw a dart, hit a crypto, hit some gains. And you know what? We're going today to... That was a dart. Sorry. It was not a dart. You said that was a pin. But it identified as a dart. So we're going to select a few projects that we like. Because you can't go wrong right now, right? You can, as we said, you could throw a dart. Can we spin a wheel? However, there are going to... You stop it with the wheel. There is going to be a few plays. There's going to be a handful of cryptos that really outperform the rest of the market. Now, can you hold a token like Tron and come out with some gains? Will you make Robin, money? Let me throw a disclaimer on your throw a dart, not Tron. EOS? Not Tron, not EOS. No. Not but here's the thing. Neo. You can buy Tron. You could buy Bitcoin Cash. You can buy insert name here. Wait 1 year from now, post halving, middle of the frothy bull market, and you're going to be up. Right now, will you be up 50%? Will you be up 300%? Probably somewhere in that range for a mediocre return on a token. But there are going to be some projects here. There are going to be some cryptos that are gaining 1,000%, that you're getting a 10x, that you're getting a 20x, especially you go further down in the line. We're going to talk about some cool projects that are outside the top 100 that are going to net you easy 100x's. And I know saying easy 100x's is like a double lie. What? Double lie. Double lie. Which double lie means truth. Robin, but I will say this, that they are there and we got a couple favorites. So. You said something was up. You said prices are up. You know what else is up is apparently Jimmy's portfolio as he's gifted 50 memberships. Jimmy, as Rob mentioned, there was only 40 people in the chat. But we appreciate you. We appreciate all the support. Big shout out to Jimmy. Let's start with Jimmy emoji. Jimmy has it. This is how important this man is to the show. Can we drop a nuke for that? Here we go. 50 gifted memberships. The man's got his own emoji. I mean, where is it? What did you get rid of, by the way? Did you get rid of my barbecue? I think I got rid of... no, not the desk. You got rid of barbecue and you got rid of something else. I think it was Sam Bankman-Fried. Is he still on there? I don't know. He got locked up, so we removed that one. So yeah,
He's removed. What's not removed is our channel sponsor, Cam's Blue Wire Technology, as they are a proud sponsor of today's show. If you want to learn how Cam's can help you and your business maximize your networking, IT, and your cybersecurity, which a lot of stuff going around with people getting hacked and wireless companies getting hacked and whatnot, you want to make sure that doesn't happen in your business. You're going to want to visit bluewiretech.com or click the link in the description of this video. We do have an update on the ETF flows. Yesterday was a big day. $500 million flowed into the ETFs, with not BlackRock leading the way, Robin, but Fidelity leading the way with $243 million in inflows. You know, I was talking to my mother-in-law yesterday. She has a retirement account at Morgan Stanley, which, if you guys remember, they're one of the few investment firms or companies that don't allow their clients exposure to the Bitcoin ETF. So I told her, I said, hey, call them up, hit up someone at Fidelity or BlackRock or one of these other ones that have services that allow you to put your money in ETF. Say, hey, I have money at Morgan Stanley. I want to put money into the ETF. They won't let me. Can you help me move my money over? And she's actually going to do that. So here we go. 111 million from BlackRock. 130 million from ARK, with a grand total of 519 million net flowing into the ETF, and Grayscale having its lowest day, I think, ever of outflows, only 22 million, right? So we saw a big uptick, and then over the last 3 days, 55, 44, and 22 million. It's kind of weird. 55, 44, 22.
Wow.
Anyways.
Wow.
But what the news of yesterday was the volume.
Yeah, here I have the a chart on that as well. It's that exact chart for the most part. So you have, just to put in perspective, this candle here yesterday, that was yesterday's volume. And so $3.27 billion in volume traded in just one day. The only one that is larger than this one was the opening day. And so you can see here, strongest performance since the launch of this, with the exception of opening day. The opening day volume was $4.5 billion, and we were at 3.27. And then after that, a nice little fall off. But I'm curious. I think that today we're going to actually have more volume.
Robin, BlackRock was $1.3 billion.
Yeah. 1.3 here on BlackRock, followed by GBTC at 844 million. And then if you go down here, you can see the inflows versus outflows here. And so look how small. You only had 51 million leaving the exchanges or the ETFs, excuse me. And you had an inflow of 302 million. So a third of $1 billion came in. And the big number here, though, the big thing to pay attention to is that Grayscale selling has subsided. And so for the whole narrative that Grayscale has been subduing the price, that's gone. And now this thing is catching speed at a breakneck pace. And you know what? Think about this. Think about how many investors that have been used to getting these very slow returns in Wall Street, right? What is it? 3%'s big, right? 5%'s big. Huge. In a short window, 5% is huge. If Apple, Nvidia, or Nvidia, or a tech stock, an index fund, if it rallies 5% in a day, that's absolutely huge, right? And that's in the traditional finance. We're special here in crypto.
Yeah,
you know,
5% is nothing.
Yeah, we're special. We like to flex 10%.
5% of $1 trillion. You know, it's not a lot.
So, anyways, think about everyone that bought just less than 2 months ago, 7 weeks ago. Think about the people that bought Bitcoin at $40,000 through the ETF that are now sniffing out damn near a 50% gain, right? They're up 40%. They're up 40%.
Smell it.
They're up 40% on an ETF in 7 weeks. If you bought Bitcoin through the ETF, you're up 40% in 7 weeks, not even 2 months, and you just realize a 10% gain in 24 hours. 24 hours, you have 10%, bro. Like, that's absolutely.
Are we about to turn the whole world into a bunch of degens here?
So absolutely. And here's the thing. So everyone in Wall Street's paying attention, right? They're like, Bitcoin thing, man. People are crushing it. So not only you got people up, they're going to double down, right? They're gonna pile in more. They're gonna acquire more Bitcoin through the ETF, and then on top of that, you got the people that are just sitting there looking with them FOMO eyes that are looking at their counterparts that are trading, the people on the floor, and they're like, "You're pretty good on that Bitcoin thing, huh?" And then what do they say to them? What do they say in the conversation? Like, how much you up on Bitcoin? 40%? What do you think that person's going to say that's up 40%? They're going to say, you think 40% is good? Guess what? 50 days from now, having supply shock, the supply gets cut in half, supply and demand's going to go through the roof. And this guy, Michael Saylor, he just keeps scooping up all the Bitcoin out there, right?
You know, FOMO eyes, I'm trying to Google it, but I can't find it.
FOMO eyes. It's kind of like a laser. Yeah, there you go. So,
we do have this from Matt. Is it Haugen or Hugen? Anyway, Matt Hogan, the chief investment officer of Bitwise, tweeted this yesterday. We bought 37.2 million in Bitcoin for our ETF today, and we're only one of the ETFs. Things are going to get interesting. And I have a couple memes here. So, you know what? Actually, let's look at this one, and then we'll bring Magic on, and we'll watch that video together. People who bought Bitcoin at 56K in 2021. Yeah. Was that another nuclear weapon that was dropped there?
Oh,
damn, Jimmy taking profits today. $300, Jimmy. Man, we love you, man. Can we open the club for no damn reason, Jimmy? I'm pretty sure we can now. We for sure can.
When we get to $500, we'll open it.
No, we're gonna open it. Robin's greedy. I'm not greedy, Jimmy. We love you. Don't forget, he had that 50 gifted memberships too. Jesus. Yeah. All right, let's bring on Magic, and then I want to share a video. Magic joins us every Tuesday. We love having him on here. Magic, how you doing, bro?
I'm a nap. Bitcoin's still sitting at like 55 plus K. It's awesome.
Hold on, man. Did you say you took a nap?
Yeah.
I was going to give you crap, but I love naps. Naps are life, man. You
get up at anywhere from 3 to 4 in the morning. So it's when I start my day. So it's one of those things where generally naps in the afternoon definitely happen. Earlier
3 or 4
sometimes.
in the morning. Oh, damn.
Yeah. I've been a 4 a.m. guy for a while.
I ain't got time for no nap, man.
Yeah.
I got too much stuff going on, man.
Yeah, I get up a little early and I'll stay. It's like recharging your battery.
If I nap, I'm literally losing money.
Well, I think what we should really kind of highlight is we have kids. So if we get up early and they're asleep,
that's true, Robin. When your kids visit, when Robin's kids visits, he naps. Don't lie. Yeah. You know you nap when your kids are here, Robin.
I do.
Thank you very much. Guys, Magic, before we get into charts, I just want to share a video. This was, I forget his name, Peter something. His name is Peter. Never met a Peter I liked.
Oh, you talking about the Zeitgeist guy?
Yeah, the Ziegler or Zingmazal. Yeah. Guys, remember, this is only a few short months ago. I think it's a few short months ago.
There's no intrinsic value to this asset. And now it's starting to be priced appropriately. So it has what's Bitcoin at? 16,000? It has another 17,000 to go down.
Duh, really?
Yeah, there's no intrinsic value to this product.
And do you think that people have just inherently lost faith in the idea behind crypto because of FTX?
Well, it became an ideology, and whenever you invest based on an ideology, you're going to make some decisions that are a little divorced from math.
And what do you mean by ideology?
Well, the people who really like crypto are convinced that it's the currency of the future and that a decentralized ledger is the way to go, and that anything that is controlled by a government entity is by definition a negative, and if it's done by the private sector freely, it will be better. And that's just not how currency works. Currency is a method of exchange and a store of value. And for that, there has to be a degree of trust, and you have to have it managed in terms of volume. I mean, one of the craziest things about Bitcoin is that there will never be more than X number of units of Bitcoin. Well, by default, that means it can't be used for trade because the whole idea of economic activity is that there's expansion.
Is you can print more money. That's the idea, guys. You can print more money. Not that things become cheaper versus the currency because the currency is valued more. Not that, but
there's a thing like in the media industry, right? If I go on someone else's show, if I'm asked to speak on a topic at a convention or on stage, sometimes you get people that aren't familiar with Bitcoin and they're in their own little world and they ask you a question that you have no expertise in. And the smart thing to do is to simply say, I can't really speak confidently in this subject because I don't know enough about it. That's the correct response when you don't know something, when you're not well versed in a subject and you're asked about it in a professional setting or to give your opinion. And this is exactly what you do when you don't know about a product, when you have no expertise, when you have someone that knows about geopolitical wars and the tension and turmoils between nation states and trade. That's that man's expertise. He doesn't know anything about Bitcoin. He doesn't know anything about crypto, and he probably doesn't know anything about monetary policy. And with that said, he was asked a question, and you should have punted on that one. You should have passed because you look like a fool because you don't even understand how the technology works.
Magic, what are your thoughts on that? Any do you think we're gonna slowly see that narrative change as Bitcoin makes a new all-time high, maybe in the next couple weeks, couple months, who knows? But we know it's going to make a new all-time high. You think? What are your thoughts on what he said, and then where do you see this thing going from just a narrative perspective? Are you getting people that are asking you about Bitcoin now?
I would say Robin kind of hit the nail on the head. Obviously, the guy's not an unintelligent person, but he's definitely overestimating his confidence in this arena. He obviously has no clue what Bitcoin actually is. So even then, if he didn't know what it was, he could literally go to a chart and see that Bitcoin is just straight up into the right for 13 years, give or take. And it's like, yeah, man, it's just a fad, whatever you want to call it. But it's doing quite well against the dollar and even better against other currencies because those are already making all-time highs. So do I think it'll get more recognition as we go? Yeah. And I am getting texts a little bit about Bitcoin. I was a little worried here recently because instead of getting like a text like, hey, what do you think about Bitcoin? I got rocket emojis, which sent to me. And I was like, oh, that's not a good
Careful,
sign.
the
I was
SEC
like,
might
that's
sue
a
you.
bad sign.
Careful.
Yeah, I was like, oh no. But I mean, it's obviously catching steam across the world, not just the United States. I think we are the focal point economically, but Bitcoin's making a much larger impact in places, like El Salvador or smaller countries that have an actual vacuum for a digital product that is needed right now. Whereas the United States has the dollar. It's going to be really difficult to dethrone that and replace it both here, but globally as well. But in those smaller countries, which are gaining traction quicker, it's because, well, they need something now. And this can start filling in some of those voids for them. So over time, I expect that to only accelerate. Once it becomes economically feasible and people can wrap their mind around and say, oh, we now have data showing that this has been used in smaller subsets and it's been successful. And then you'll get politicians, citing this, like, hey, did you see what happened in El Salvador? Did you see what happened over in Turkey, whatever it may be? And they'll use that to try to leverage, potentially legislation one day to put that, in place. So if that were to take place, it could take quite a while, but maybe quicker than we all think too. You never know. So
Yeah, very well said, man. Magic, let's jump into the price action here. So I got Bitcoin on the daily. I was looking at this yesterday and I'm like, Bitcoin's kind of overextended. It's in this premium zone here, on this Lux Algo price action concepts. There's a little gap right around 53K. I'm like, I want to put in a small short position here just as a swing trade. And then I'm just like, we saw 3 billion in volume. What are we going to see today? And so ultimately, I didn't put a trade in. What are you seeing on the structure of the Bitcoin chart? Obviously, we've had 2 massive consecutive green candles on the daily here. If we print another one, we could potentially see a Japanese candlestick pattern called the 3 white soldiers, which is a very bullish candle pattern, right? Typically continuation pattern. which if you take a look at Bitcoin, we have been in an uptrend for quite a while. What are you seeing on the Bitcoin chart? Yeah, so kind of leave it at that.
Yeah, so we had a reversal pattern, if you recall, speaking of patterns. At the bottom, we had a macro reversal pattern. It was a harmonic, which is just a different type of looking at the market, of course, like here. And it was very symmetrical in terms of time and price, which was really nice. It actually aided in my ability to kind of start flipping into longs in like the 16K range. You've now come up to the gold pocket here, where if you look, and the 0.1 is down here, I've just extended it over, but you're measuring the point from X over to C, which is the top, 69K, and then you're measuring down to D. So we're getting the Fibonacci trend from this point, but based on these numbers. And you can see you've now hit your gold pocket, which would be a pretty big area, long side of the 2021 range. So if you went back to 2021 and you actually just projected the range over in terms of time, you'll see that you not only found acceptance almost perfectly, you've now run that range in its entirety. And so what I mean by that is you had a naked point of control. Depending on the session and the context, those actually can be filled at a certain percentage. And you have your trend-based gold pocket. So mathematically, not mathematically, but more from like a TA standpoint, this made sense. If you were to extend over your range and just say, well, this is what the range looks like, you got a really nice back test right here. So this is what I was talking about. So as soon as you broke above 53K, that was kind of the area you had to see broken. This was going to be your next target. And it was always a target based on this style of analysis. It's just now it's coming into play, and it's happening and it's doing something it hasn't done yet in a halving cycle, I guess. So this is a whole new thing. Are we breaking the 4-year cycle type thing? So I have a feeling we're about to find out, and we may find out in a big way, because if this does continue from here, you can start using this same style of analysis to look for, potential targets, I guess, is for lack of a better term. You could start looking for like the 1-to-1 of it. You could turn on the 1-to-1. Your 1-to-1's all the way up here, like 80,000. So if you start breaking above this level of the chart and living there, like this like $58,000, $60,000 region, and this is support now, I don't see why we wouldn't make a new high. And then you've got to say, okay, can I project for that? So if you were wanting to look at things locally and say what needs to happen if there's going to be a retrace here, when will I know? There's just been no sign of weakness. So kind of to your point, I was short actually from 53K because I trade my levels. I know you guys catch me shorting a lot, but I only short at certain points. That's one thing I'll say is I only short when the chart tells me to. And there was a nice short right here, almost to the dollar. It's a level we'll have up for the next year. Now, the issue is that when you go into like the low time frames on something like this, you were talking about volume, and people are going to talk about short squeezes. You had the previous week range, which was about right here, on over to, what is that, 24? So it would be like 17. Yeah, right here. So this is your prior week of this consolidation. So we're just using time because it's easier to standardize time. That way we don't have too many variables, right? So we know when the week starts and ends. Most traders do. And you'll have your gold pocket at what? The value area low of the prior session. So just using the volume profile and a little bit of fib, you actually had a good long here as well. So you can recognize, though, that above this level, there's really nothing between you and a new high at that point. So it kind of stood to make sense that you didn't really want to stand in way of it, and that the trend is still up. You've not broken any kind of structure here. You'd be looking for your next target, which was going to be, for me, 56,944. That specific little NPOC there into this gold pocket. Now, from there, you do have targets higher still. So technically, until probably breaking down right here, you can kind of see where prices started to settle up a little bit. Just beneath here is what's called a single print. It's just, I think some people in other forms of TA refer to them as volume gaps, whatever it may be, but you can see that there's really nothing here. So if you find your way back into that and find acceptance, generally you're going to get a pretty decent retrace. And then, 53K has to be support at that point, because if 53K was lost, like let's say we broke above 53K from here and then came back and lost it, I would actually expect to probably not only take these lows, but make our way all the way down to like 47 at that time. So yeah, there's just no weakness in the chart. Your first set of weakness is going to be your last local lows here, and that's right around 55.6. So do with that information what you will. I would say that, price can go up quite extensively and, get overstretched. And a lot of people will say, oh, it's oversold or overbought, so it has to do this. It doesn't have to do anything. The market's irrational. It's run by people like you and me, and now it's run by people like you and me with a lot more money. So it's one of those things where it's like,
Yeah.
you just trade the chart. Like, that's all I can do is control my risk based on what I see. And so for me, I did take this as a short right here, but it was like one of those things where it was a perfect level, perfect, follow up with open interest falling off at the same time. And if I turned on Q4, those levels were good for a year. These levels are good for the next quarter, which ends in a month. But this was the Q4 deviations I've been working off of, and you can see they're not quite as good as the year, but they're pretty good. So, just taking the day trades where they are, and then kind of like you said, not marrying positions. We talked about this last time. Like, marrying shorts has been an absolutely god awful strategy for a long time. Doesn't mean you can't short, no, but you got to be ready to like cut that short and let price kind of continue and do what it's going to do.
I don't get, there's some traders, I'm not gonna throw names out here, but that are still like Bitcoin's going down at 25K. They're like, I don't think we're ever gonna see Bitcoin under 25K again. I mean, barring
I think
I mean, I don't even know
I don't
what that
think
would
so
look
either.
like.
It would look awful, actually. I would think we'd probably enter an extended bear market at that time if we go back to like 20, 25K from here, unless it's like a wick, a flash wick. It all depends on context and how you get there and what's going on economically. But if Bitcoin goes up to all-time highs and then, rapidly does that in the next few months and then nukes back down to levels like that, that's what's called a left translated cycle. Kind of talked about it a little bit with Bob Lucas before on your show. Really, really interesting, because it would kind of show that Bitcoin is finishing out the first couple 4-year cycles and is now forming a larger cycle. And you could extensively go sideways and maybe not make a new all-time high for 4 to 8 years at that point. So, or you get a super cycle. Maybe we finally get what we've all been asking for the last like 2 cycles. I've heard super cycle nonstop since 2017. So it would be very fitting that when everyone thought this was a bull run that was going to have a hard time getting going, everyone's on the sidelines, and then you finally get what you've been talking about. The ETF is here. This time is actually different, that type of thing. So we'll see. We will see what we get. Like, to me right now, though, it's a long market right now. It's risk on. There's no reason to really kind of marry the opposing position. And I think the reason that they do, just so you're aware, is, people that are sidelined like that, they start projecting what they want to happen because they're not in the market. They've been waiting to get in the market and they never got that. And then they publicly post it and it's like, oh no, this is still going to happen. Well, if it doesn't, they're probably not in the market. They're probably not making any money right now. So they're just projecting what they want to happen as a trader. It is what it is.
You just gotta, like, sometimes, man, and we post our trades on X and we post our losers too. I think it's important for people to understand that you're not going to be right 100% of the time. You just got to mitigate your risk and be like, okay, look, this didn't play out like I wanted it to. I'm going to cut my losses here, learn from it, and move on. Some people have a hard time doing that. And what the problem is, a lot of these people have large followings, and people that we sit here and say, this is not financial advice. But at the end of the day, guys, people listen to you, right? People listen to us. People listen to Magic. No matter how many times we tell them, don't follow what we do. This is just an idea. People are going to follow what we do. So you're not only wrecking yourself, but you're wrecking your followers as well.
I've been telling a friend of mine to get into Bitcoin since it was at like 20K because he was asking me about it. And the reason that was so important is now he's, he kind of started keeping up with my analysis. He's like, oh, you're really accurate with these levels. And he's thinking about trading. I was like, how long have you been in the markets? He's like, just a few months. I was like, that's just get in the market and then just stay in the market. Look at what the dollar is going to do historically. If you guys want to trade, use a small portion of your capital, but understand that even just a simple, hey, investment strategy over time is going to do quite well. And there's no point in risking all that capital. If you want to have fun and do some degen stuff, kind of like you were just alluding to, it's okay to be wrong. Just be wrong with a little bit of money, not a lot of bit of money.
Amen to that, man.
That's it. Yeah.
Amen
So just be in the market. Bitcoin's not going anywhere.
I agree. Kathy Wood said, or if it was Kathy Wood or someone, it's not about timing the market. It's about time in the market. We said that 100,000 times. It's very important. Magic. I'm looking at the crypto bubbles here. Gala is up almost 20%. We know our friend Jimmy.
And also a little bit about Gala. I was looking to see why is Gala up so heavy other than the markets rallying. They did launch the Gala swap, which enables. It's obviously is a uh, decentralized swap, similar to like Uniswap, but it's on their new chain, which is a needed tool for Gala because you have a lot of different native tokens that are running on these other games, and so you might need to swap in between tokens, and so you need to do it all on chain. And so Gala has launched Gala Swap, and so I think they have like 40 million transactions, or capable of 40 million transactions per second, or 40,000 or 40. Anyways, there's a big number of transactions that they're going to be able to process um, per second. So there you go.
And then what does the chart look like, Magic?
I mean, from a chart standpoint, it actually looks awful, but not like look right now, but just from macro wise. I mean, it could turn it around from here, of course, but this is one I have not looked at this since January of 2023.
Damn.
So all these lines are outdated, but we'll take a peek at it. Most importantly to note right here, guys, for anyone that is wondering, like on a coin like Gala with not much history, how could you have like tried to find a bottom in a very simple way? This is your prior low, right? This is your first candle. It's your prior low. You could have very easily put this level on the chart and just trade it anytime we get back above it and just say, okay, I'm looking to trade this as a range. And you would have made pretty good money. And then you could even build positions down here if you saw fit, if there was something like in the momentum that was telling you like, oh, might get a reversal soon. Price is heavily discounted. I want to get some Gala. They're going to release Gala Swap potentially, and that's going to do well. That's how you can kind of pair up TA with news at that point. I don't do it, but there's a lot of people that do, and they're quite good at it. It can be a very successful strategy. So Gala, let's take a look locally and see exactly what we need to do with this one. And it's nice to see altcoins are moving this way. All right. Yeah, straight away, you've got a really nice, just this area of the chart is going to be probably somewhat important. And I'm going to get rid of this. And I'm going to actually get rid of that as well. Just start keeping it clean. Man. Yeah, so this is actually a really important range. So if you look, these are like little tiny things that you can kind of key up on and like where key inflection points might be. Right here, you've got some lows that were set in on the monthly time frame, so fairly high time frame before making its high, right? And you can see right here, this is also going to be an area where you started seeing price get rejected and finding new lows, right? So we know that we could probably mark this out as an area that we need to have, available to us, because if Gala gets back above, say this area right here on the chart, good things are probably going to happen, So you could do the same thing with Pepe.
And
actually,
what's the price? What is the number on that level, Magic?
Sure. Let's go ahead and go to the coordinates of this box. It looks like it is 7.284 cents and 9.5 cents, this little zone. And when we remove everything else from the chart for just a second, you can see why we're now isolating this area. You can see this was support, now it's resistance. Getting back to this and back testing that support, or resistance now potentially, is going to be fairly important. But if you get above it, where can we go? That's the question. You can do anything from basic fibs if you guys want to get targets that way and say, well, where's my gold pocket? Where's my 886 retrace? If you're into really deep retraces and you're more bullish, or however you may want to do it. For me, I would like to just take a range strategy. A lot of times the point of control is somewhere else in the range up here, but in this instance, it's right smack dead in this box. Also kind of telling us that if you can get back in this range, you can run the range. You stand the potential to get back above and get into the range and then cycle the entire thing, which would put you at like 25 cents. That's actually a pretty good move considering it's trading at 3 cents right now. It's like an 8x. I think that would take quite a bit of time, and it's pretty ambitious. But I think if I was looking at this just blindly like we are now, I would have to say that, we have to go back test this level here. We don't have to, but I would say 5 cents, probably give or take 4.951 cents. Is probably going to see some action at some point. And if it does, it's going to be quite telling, because if that level becomes support and we start putting pressure on this box and getting above it, you could see a fairly large move in continuation to the upside, because this thing is, fairly beat down. For lack of a better term, it's pretty beat down. So, a lot of altcoins look this way. I'd be curious. I'm going to deviate just real quick. I have a bit of a curiosity for Bitcoin dominance. And that's the wrong chart. I know I think it's in here.
Real quick, while
Long-term
you're pulling that up,
Go ahead.
I do want to give ask the chat. Why haven't you hit the like button? Do us a favor, hit the like button. Also, if you are new here, say hello so we can drop an hola back at you. We got a few new faces: Monty, Shaken, Not Stirred, and Kay as well. Kay also mentioned that Rob is my financial master. Well, appreciate that. Not sure if that's a good thing for you, but anyways, hola! Welcome.
Yeah. So what I was curious about was Bitcoin dominance, just because I've had this target for quite some time in terms of where I want it to go, and it's a fairly wide one, but it's all based on fibs, and a little bit on hey, we're above certain levels like the 2022 high, et cetera. So looking for if Bitcoin's coming into this box and Gala is getting above where it just was, if we're back above on Gala, that I think it was 9 cents, give or take a few. I gotta find it. There we go. Getting back above this little box here. I'm going to get rid of this guy because it's just not necessary. And we're going to go to log because it's easier to see. Boom. Yeah, I mean, you get back above this little box and above these highs, and Bitcoin might be entering some phase like this where we start seeing money rotate out, which is really kind of a ballsy thing to say these days, given what's going on with Bitcoin. But, the TA says this would be an area we'd expect some kind of a pullback. So that's where you can see these alts like, oh yeah, they've been doing really well, but then it's like, oh man, they've over doubled. I don't know if I should get in. And then it doubles again on you. We see that happen time and time again, especially with altcoins because the market caps are so small, so they can kind of be, use the term manipulated, but they can be, they can be manipulated by buyers and sellers quite easily in terms of like large percentage gains or losses, obviously. So yeah, I would put this on your chart right here. This little box between 7.284 and 9.543. That's going to be the inflection zone that I'm most interested in. If it remains range bound, you can just say, okay, we've got a really large range here. I'm looking to buy back at the point of control down in like the sub 2.5 cent region over time, or maybe you get like a partial decline or something, and you can ride it up back in further targets. But yeah, that's how I would look at it. As far as all-time high goes and stuff like that, I have no clue. I don't know what's going to happen because you guys know this. Historically speaking, last cycle altcoins generally don't do as well. So it's like, what do we do with all these 2,000 plus coins that are out? It's like, hopefully that trend breaks though, because you don't want to see all these projects because they probably have a lot of people bag holding, a lot of like investors that are retail, things like that. So it would just, be kind of a kick in the teeth for them, I guess, if they all went to like zero, like we all joke about. But
you bring up a good point, Magic, is just because it's been around for 5-6 years doesn't mean it's going to make new all-time highs, let alone get back to its last all-time high. So it's important to keep those things in mind. Obviously some projects have staying power and they continue to make new all-time highs. You get projects like Solana, Avalanche, Cardano, Ethereum, obviously Bitcoin. And so amazing, man. Thank you so much. Magic, we appreciate you, brother. Thank you. Always love your TA, love your work, love your insight into the markets.
definitely.
If people want more Magic Internet money, where can they find you?
Get at me on Twitter. That's probably the best place. I haven't been as active on social media. I do take breaks when I get a little burned out. And we're kind of in the easy mode of the market. So there's really not as much to add where it's like, I don't want people over trading. Kind of, you hinted earlier that people follow people's trades. And I actually don't want people like trying to follow my trades that are like day trades in a market like this that's volatile. And, maybe I'm taking a short one day and then they get absolutely wrecked because, we get stopped out. So I don't want to be responsible for that. So I do a lot of high time frame analysis. So I point out like, hey, this is your next target on the macro. This is like a target for potentially all-time highs. And then I just kind of leave it there and leave my timeline. So if you interact with me on Twitter though, don't DM me, but you can interact with me on Twitter and I will certainly interact back. So
awesome. And there you go, guys. That is his handle. If you want to go follow him, Magic Internet M1, not M2,
Perfect.
M1. Magic, we appreciate you joining us, man. Thank you so much. And we'll see you next week.
All right, bro.
Sounds good. Have a good one, guys. Thank you.
Man, so bullish on Ethereum. And, a lot of it is the impending ETF down the road.
Well, you're bullish on Ethereum?
The whole ecosystem, man. We did a video yesterday that did not get a lot of views, which shame on y'all. But the thing is the ETF is coming, right? In May is the final deadline. Now, not a certainty that it's going to get passed, but there's growing confidence from the experts, particularly people that that are connected in the ETF world that it will be passed. But something that's coming up even sooner than that, right around the corner, I think that is something that we don't realize how quick it is, how quick it's coming. Ethereum devs confirm Dane Coon upgrade mainnet has been deployed. So the mainnet, the Dane Coon upgrade has been successfully activated on all test nets and is scheduled for deployment on March 13th. We are just a little over 2 weeks away from the most bullish update that Ethereum has. Now, in the past, we've seen, in the more recent past, we saw Ethereum move from proof of work to proof of stake. Didn't really do anything to the use case and utility. It was just a consensus mechanism update. This right here makes Ethereum competitive to other layer ones. And this is per Grayscale Investments. Grayscale came out and said that they believe the Dane Coon upgrade represents Ethereum's coming of age, as it will dramatically improve its competitiveness in its terms of scalability. Grayscale describes ETH's poor performance compared to rival smart contract enabled networks over the past year as adolescent phase, arguing that the Dane Coon upgrade will allow the network to grow. So you have the update coming. It's only 2 weeks away, man. That's the thing. It's 2 weeks away. I know we've gotten used to delays, but it's running currently on the test nets. It's gonna release in 2 weeks. And with that said, I mean, it's here.
You know,
Cheaper transactions, higher throughput. The layer twos benefit the most. 90% reduction on layer twos. Polygon, Arbitrum, you name it, everything is cheaper.
You know, since you messed up the flow of the show for me, let's just talk about ETH here. Ether draws institutional bullishness. So this is a research report from Bybit. Highlights a growing institutional bullishness on Ether, driven by the expected positive impact of the upgrade and on the Ethereum blockchain. So according to Bybit, optimism towards Ether began in September of 2023 and picked up momentum in January of this year, reaching about 40% of institutional portfolios. Bybit said that institutions started reducing their Bitcoin holdings in early December 2023 at a time that the asset tested a crucial resistance level of 40K, talking about Bitcoin, of course. And here you can see, as of January 31st of 2024, institutional asset allocation, dead even. In fact, ETH is a little higher than Bitcoin is. And so, you know, we saw how the Bitcoin ETF was front ran. We're kind of seeing the potential Ethereum ETF being front ran. So ETH is a big play here. I'm not in the 40K camp by 2020 or 40K by 2026 camp, but I am in the 10 to 15K camp for sure. I think without a doubt that ETH definitely gets there.
Man, yeah, I mean, at 10K, I mean, we're talking $1 trillion market cap, or at 12K, right? Because right now it's sitting, I think, at just shy. It's a third of a $1 trillion right now. So at a third of $1 trillion, a 3x essentially would put it in the $1 trillion camp, which a 3x would also put it at the $10,000 level. And my thing is that it's going to be deflationary, or at least more deflationary, at least compared to Bitcoin. Bitcoin is still inflating at around, I think it's 2% annualized at the current mining rate that we're at now. I don't know, with the halving coming up, it's gonna be reduced even more. But I'm not exactly sure that number, but regardless, Bitcoin is still inflationary currently because we are mining more Bitcoin. But at this moment, Ethereum, since the last update that it had with its latest EIP proposal, it became deflationary. Now it's been minute; it hasn't been anything crazy. I think it's went down 0.5%, but that's during a bear market, and its deflationary mechanism increases over time, right? And so with or increases with transactions. And so as more people use the network, the deflationary aspect of Ethereum increases. And venture capital is absolutely behind Ethereum. That's why that chart you showed, it's all about that chart you showed, it's all about that's all representative of venture capital. And wait till the retail gets a taste of it, man. And then I'm bullish on ETH, but my whole thing is that the entire ecosystem, altcoin ecosystem, is going to be the ones that flourish the most, right? Because when ETH gets to 10, 12, 15, $20,000 here in the next 12 months, who benefits? It's the
Everyone.
alts. It's the alts and everyone that's in crypto. And everything pours over. It's like a chocolate fountain, at your favorite wedding. The top represents Bitcoin and then it pours over. And then at the bottom, you got the marshmallow and you're over here just, just crushing it on these alts.
Wow. Or it could be a cheese fondue fountain.
Something about liquid cheese just doesn't do it for me.
Anyways, let's get into our.
You like liquid cheese? Like that canned cheese?
Let's get into our next segment, which is our Rate My Portfolio, and it is brought to you by Decrypted.tax. We know tax season is here, especially if you're in crypto, it can get very confusing. We actually have Ernest who's going to be joining us in a little bit. We're going to talk about taxes, and he's going to give you some pointers and tips as far as what you can do to make sure to minimize your tax liability. But here we go, Rate My Portfolio. So this was submitted last week, and we're doing it today. And so this is a portfolio worth, let's call it $200,000, right? Their goal is to get to $2 million by Q3 of next year. So between July, September-ish, July, August, September of 2025, they want to essentially get, what is that, Robin? A 10X? A 10X. Okay, so here's what this portfolio looks like. You have 60% in Bitcoin, 18.2% in Ethereum, 8.5% in SingularityNet. You have 4.9% in stablecoin, so dry powder, 2.1% in Solana, 1.8% in Matic, and others include CSIX, which is Carbon, XRP, is in this order: Cardano, Sandbox, Dogecoin, and Algorand. So, with in mind, Robin, the fact that this person wants a 10X,
Did
a
they
little
give
over a
time
year.
In a little over a year?
Little over a year, Q3 of next year.
No. To 10x, that's such a big ask, right? And the thing is, we're used to 10x's, but it doesn't come from Bitcoin. Now, you can sit here and say, hey, from market bottom to market top, in one cycle, sure, you get a 10x. At the very, very COVID low, Bitcoin hit $3,000 in early of 2020, and then late 2021, you were at 60K over a 20x. So you can look back historically and be like, it's only half of a 20x. But first of all, you didn't buy the bottom. I know you didn't. Nobody has successfully bought the bottom and successfully sold the top. At least not with an entire portfolio, right? You might have gotten a couple buys near the bottom. You might have gotten a couple sells near the top. But as far as an average, not going to happen. And if you're trying to get a 10x, you can't do it with Bitcoin. It's not going to happen. And now this is an ideal portfolio for a long term. Now, if you just were buying this and you'd like to see a 10x as far as a number, but you're okay not getting that delivered and you want to hold this portfolio in the long term, cool. Just know you're not going to get a 10x in a year. Not going to happen. But this is a solid portfolio for crypto in the long run, right? Heavily weighted, over 50% in Bitcoin. This is the model portfolio you would want for a 4 to 5 year time horizon. But that time horizon, I do think carries a 10x. But The 1 year, not so much. But I don't have anything negative to say about your choices here.
What's your favorite part of this portfolio?
I think it's very well diversified. I just think if you're the time horizon is just off. But I love it, man. You have a little bit of Matic, you have ETH as a big play. You got Solana in there as well, Bitcoin. I mean, if you're bullish on Singularity Net, cool. I mean, that's on you. You got little stable coins on the side. Maybe a little bit more risk on those others. I know you mentioned Cardano and some other.
Doge, Sandbox.
Yeah, I just feel like they're a little higher up on the market
Oh, they
cap
have two
list.
stable coins, Tether and
Just-
XRP.
If you're gonna have, I would do a 5%, maybe 8%, bring down Singularity Net to 5%. Roll that over into others, so you got a solid 7 to 8% to play in others, and then go really outside the box. There's no point in holding Solana, Matic, and then a very, very small bag of Doge and Cardano. Like, it's go further down the list and try to get a bigger returns, try to hit a home run. Things that to keep in mind, maybe like Gala, tokens that are outside of the top 80, I would say. So you got Fetch AI, it would be a good one. Ronin. You have, let's see, Pancake Swap. No, punt
Pancake
that.
Swap.
Never mind. Yeah, never mind of that. Rocket Pool might be something to look at. Engine Coin is really sexy. This is a good play outside the top 100. And then you got IoTex. That's also pretty good. Radix, can't go wrong with that. I mean, DeFi and crypto, they were one of our sponsors here a while ago. So we know the product pretty intimately, and we got a lot of dApps and a lot of developers on there. Ocean Protocol, another AI play. This is the things that I would be stacking up on. Even Loopring. I think Loopring. This is probably one of my favorite projects, and it's outside the top 150, $300 million market cap. This thing was in the top 20 in 2021, absolutely exploded. And so if you were to take a look at their all-time chart, I mean, look at this thing, man. It was at over $3, and it's currently sitting at 20 something cents. And this is a decentralized order books that runs on Ethereum, has all of the bells and whistles that you get from a centralized exchange, but done in a decentralized manner. And it's a lot cheaper as well than running through like Uniswap, for example. And so if you're going to use Uniswap, if the tokens are listed on Loopring, why not use Loopring? It's easier to use, a little bit more user friendly, and cheaper as well. And so I think that resurgence of Loopring, and just to give you a couple examples there,
I think with the upgrade though, I think Loopring loses a little bit of its lust, right? Because the whole thing with
There's a
Loopring
lot
is
of
they used to,
competition.
they batched orders, so it made it super cheaper. Now that everything's going to be cheaper, right? Polygon, why not just go on Polygon? Why not just go on Arbitrum, Optimism, right?
Then you got Ox Protocol. I wouldn't be surprised this have a resurgence. This was pretty popular in 2018. Also, did have a decent rally in 2020. Audius is a pretty cool one. I mean, I think these are like some things that you should have. You should have these style of plays, even Band Protocol, in your home run category. And so if you're gonna have a 5%, like what is 2%? What is 2% of your portfolio in Cardano going to do for you? Realistically, like we're bullish on
it's
Cardano.
also a $200,000 portfolio.
Yeah, but at 2%, I mean, you're at what, $1,000? Like, you got $1,000 in Cardano and in a what's that?
$4,000.
Okay, $4,000 in Cardano in a $200,000 portfolio. It's pretty minute. It's like roll that over into something else, or just.
I also like this portfolio. Although if you would have told me I want a 10x in 5 years, I would have given this a 10 out of 10. I would. I love your layer one diversification. You have Solana, ETH. I would like to maybe see like an Avalanche in there. You have Cardano, obviously, and Algorand. Algorand's, I like Algorand as well. I mean, I picked up Algorand at around 9 cents, had an all-time high of over $3. So a lot of room there to run. Fine with your AI play. No gaming. I think that's an issue. Definitely have some gaming. No DeFi. unless you're tailing your DeFi onto your Ethereum play here. But yeah, I mean, 5 years, great. You will get a 10x. You will turn it into 2 million. But in a year, too much Bitcoin. And I'm a pretty big Bitcoin bull. And so I don't think we're going to see a $600,000 Bitcoin in a year. And then you're also going to have to exactly time the top and sell all of your, 60% of your Bitcoin into the top of the market. I just don't see it happening. Could it happen? Potentially. I hope it does for you. But I would give this a 7 out of 10 based on your time frame. You would have told me 5 years, it would have gotten a 10 out of 10. So big shout out to Decrypted.tax for sponsoring this segment. I did pin the link up there. So anyone from our community who uses that link, you'll save 25% off your tax services. And we know tax season could be super stressful. And so we were able to pry away Ernest, the founder of Decrypted Tax, away for 5 minutes because we wanted him to give you guys some info and what to expect going into tax season. So we have him joining us. Ernest, how you doing, man?
Hey, how are you?
We're great.
I'm
Thank you
doing well.
Thank you for joining us. We know you must be super busy,
Yep.
right? It's like,
Oh, we do okay.
yeah. I wanted to ask you, what are some tips you would give people who are filing their taxes, who have a lot of crypto, who are maybe kind of scrambling around trying to figure out, because I download my stuff from Coinbase. It's missing cost basis. It doesn't show you what fees you paid. So what is the best way to people to maximize if they are going to get a tax return or even minimize their tax liability?
Find someone who knows what they're doing with crypto and get them to look at your portfolio and see what you're doing and to help you. We regularly help our clients identify basis. The trick to that is getting in early and reporting everything to us. It's just really important to report everything and let us try to work to minimize the tax. I see too many clients trying to sidestep tax that would have done just fine if they'd give us all the information in the beginning.
Me last year, I went to a tax guy and I had my sheet from Coinbase printed out and I had one from Crypto.com and he's like, well, what was your cost basis here? And I'm trying to sit there and it took me 5 hours. And so it's nice. And I think, of course, moving forward as crypto grows, I think there's going to be a lot of accounting firms and CPAs who start to learn and dive into crypto and start to market themselves as, hey, we do cryptocurrency. But you really want to focus on the ones that have been here and doing it for a long time, who understand the space. And so big shout out to you. We do have, and I mentioned before, we do have the link here. If you want to maybe spend a minute or two, talk about what services you guys provide and how you how you guys are helping people.
So we help people that have as few as 100 transactions to those that have, our largest client has 200,000 transactions a year. Now, when I say transactions, it breaks it up. But the important thing is to leverage the technology. So we currently use CoinLedger, not exclusively. We also use Coinly and some of the others for our clients. But getting that data aggregation, that's really important, and it makes it easy. We have a proprietary system, a private label system that we're going to be using next year. We'll have our own system for data aggregation, but currently we're partnered with CoinLedger and Coinly. So getting that information early, getting us the information early, and we have free consultations. I do free consultations almost all day, every day. I'll sign up on our website for a free consultation. It won't cost you a dime. I'll answer all your questions you have in the hour that I've allocated. So happy to do that. No charge.
Awesome. Thank you, Ernest. Guys, if you want to use the services or you want to talk to Ernest, use the link in the description. Ernest, we appreciate you. We'll let you get back to your work, my friend. And we'll talk again soon.
All right, bro.
Have a good one.
Take care, brother. Bitcoin is at 57.1, 7167. I think it was 60K by the end of the week.
60K?
We have the rest of today, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Only 3,000. That's only a $1,000 gain per day, bro.
I think we bounce off of 60K. I think we get there at some point by the end of the week. I think we cross over, we bump into it. Maybe we hit like 60,300 or something on a short time window. Then we come right back down. Hang out, trade between 57 and 59. I think that is indicative of what we've seen and historically before we crossed 40K. That's something we did for a little while. Before we crossed 30K, we did that as well. But I do think that 60K is going to be pretty similar to that as well.
And also, I want to give a shout out to Crypto Billy's in Vegas. We're going to hang out with them on Friday. But they're doing their Billy Goat Tales later tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern. I will probably be stopping by. They have great guests on there. They had Charles on there a couple weeks ago. It was a great conversation. So definitely recommend you guys go check that out. Go follow him on Twitter at Billy Goat Tales. And also, you know, we open the club here when we hit certain milestones or when we hit certain dollar amounts, apparently. And so in honor of our hype man, Jimmy, Rocco, let's open up the club.
He's good, man. Haven't opened the club in a while. See, the
$300. That's the going rate, baby.
$300 and 300 likes, right?
Now the likes are at 350. We're growing. You know, I grow our numbers here as well. Big shout out to everyone that supports us. We appreciate you guys. Ryan Randall dropped a $10 super chat. Ryan, we will do your portfolio next Tuesday. Next Tuesday, I got you, brother. We'll rate your portfolio. Maybe we'll even do it earlier. Who knows? But thank you for the super chat. Thank you to all of you that support the channel. Come back tomorrow. We're going to have another great show. We got Dan from the Chart Guys joining us. And who knows? Will Bitcoin be at 60K when we do our show tomorrow? Maybe. If it is, maybe we'll open up the club. And then also one more big thank you to Cams, Blue Wire Technology. If you want to learn how they can help your business scale and grow, visit BlueWireTech.com. And with that being said, Rocco, that was an aggressive tornado.
Wow.
Yes. Too aggressive.
Too late. Tornado was
Theta video coming out today.
Tornado was 5
Let's talk about the videos better.
Theta video.
Yes,
Theta.
Theta. We rep Theta. Theta.
Sin City, crypto. Everybody know we here, folks. Entertainment and info. Gonna show you how to get that big dough. So every day stay tapped in. For big facts, no capping. With Bitcoin, if you're in, then you win. We divide the pie with no fraction. It's Big Rob, David. I split the game, but they gave it. Name the coin that's your favorite. I got dry powder, why save it? To the OGs, new beginners. Special shout out to the well members. Buy a dip, sell winners. Ain't really nothing you can tell sinners. Tune in for the latest new flavors. They gonna teach us mean coins. They polarizing like barbecue chicken pizzas. I laugh with a major grin. Laggers, we trade them in. Baddies, they came to sin. And sinners gon' play to win. Screaming, hola, till my bags are flowing over. Hold ya to the moon and to the solar. Won't I? Don't